So I'm going to go ahead and turn over to Dr. Tan. Welcome everyone to the session on AgMIP Vietnam. AgMIP Vietnam is one of our more recent partnership sessions, and we've been enjoying having some exchange over the past few months and sharing research areas and so forth. So I will turn my camera off and hand over to you, Dr. Tan. And again, welcome everyone. We're delighted to have you here.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for your introduction, Dr. Mutas. So we are very happy to introduce our AgMIP team. So it's my great honor to be a moderator for our team today. So, so please take a look at my slides so that we can continue our sections. So you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So
we're on the second slide at this point, and there we go. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. So our team today will have several contents for our meeting today. First is the introduction of the AgMIP Vietnam team, we cover by me, and then we will have the presentation by Dr. Srida at the International Rice Research Institute, and then dynamic seasonal predictions, Dr. Tân Phan at University of Science, Vietnam National University at Hanoi, and then stream flow prediction in geopolitical approach based on using the satellite observation and generalization at the subcontinental scale, methodology and web portal by Dr. Dương Bui. And then there is another presentation, nature-based solutions, protein rice modeling, we cover by me, and finally we have the Q&A discussions. So we have about an hour and a half. So each team member will present their topic in from 10 to 15 minutes, and so you please join us and raise your question. So what is the AgMIP team? So we know that we just a new members of the global AgMIP. We came from different universities, not just only in Vietnam, and then we also have partners from ERI and also other international partners around the world to join the Vietnam team. So our teams are, as our team members are so diverse. Like me from An Giang University is located in the south of Vietnam in the Mekong River Delta. Then Dr. Châu Trân at An Giang University, and then Dr. Srida, International Rice Research Institute. He will be the co-lead in climate change impact. Dr. Pablo Impact from Global Center on Adaptation, the co-lead in ecosystem services and climate change adaptation. Dr. Nhá Dương at An Giang University in the Mekong River Delta will be the co-lead in the culture management. And after that, Dr. Xuân Do at Cần Thơ University will be the co-lead in soil. Dr. Dương Bui at Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources with a co-lead in hydrology and government and policies. Dr. Tân Phan, University of Science, Vietnam National University Hanoi, with co-lead in climate change, climate seasonal projections. And Dr. Wele at Central Institute for Natural Resources and Environmental Studies, Vietnam National University at Hanoi, with the co-lead in community development. So the idea to form the AgMIP Vietnam just raised about 2 years ago, and then finally we came up with the team. So there are several directions for our team. So firstly, to contribute to the AgMIP with the case studies, and then provide networking support and advice for crop modeling and also sustainable agriculture in Vietnam. Exchange knowledge in crop modeling and sustainable agriculture. And then with some, we have some particular focus, topics for our team. That we will do like organic crop modeling. So, first time, so we mentioned this one in Vietnam as well. And then also climate change seasonal forecast, and also in our team, Dr. Thang, he will focus on even like sub-seasonal forecast, nature-based solutions, decision making and planning for sustainable agriculture. And there are some plants, rice, oriental, and other plants. And then we also are very interested in combined systems like rice stream and also mango stream. What is our current stage? So for network, we formed, and then we also welcome new partners from other countries and other institutions, not only in Vietnam, but also in other countries as well. We have regular seminars on the concerned topics ongoing for this one. So right now we have weekly meetings, weekly seminars, so that each team member can introduce their topic. And then we are adopting the AgMIP protocol so that we can do training also to help our team members. And then we are networking with our experts within the global AgMIP, but also other experts outside of the AgMIP. And then next steps. So we just formed the team, and then our next step will be we're looking at adopting the AgMIP protocol so that we can apply them to the case in Vietnam. And then we will provide training on some model intercomparisons, particularly for sustainable agriculture. And then also do the exchange knowledge via invited talks by the guest speakers from the different institutions in Vietnam and internationally. And then write new proposals. So there's next steps. We should propose several steps so that we can do into next following weeks. So also we will make the detailed plan for the future. But I think the most important for our team is how we can adopt AgMIP protocols and how we can have
I cannot hear anything. Hello?
Yes, I think we lost Tan. I think he's probably just.
Yes, I think we lost Tan. So let's move ahead to Sridhar, and Tan can conclude his comments a little bit later.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Caroline. The title of my presentation would be Application of Climate-Related Risk Mapping and Adaptive Planning, CS Map in Mekong River Delta. I will be representing CCAP Southeast Asia. Well, before developing these climate risk maps, what we have done is, as a CCAP's team here, we tried to analyze the historical data to understand what kinds of trends are existing and what are the hotspots in Mekong River Delta. Mekong River Delta has 3 rice crops here, so it becomes the rice bowl of Vietnam and contributes more than 70% of rice exports. So we concentrated on Mekong And we noticed that the surface temperatures, especially temperatures above 35 degrees Celsius, are increasing in this season, in the 3 seasons. Then the rainfall at the beginning of the season are decreasing. So we try to identify all the climate related risks in terms of floods, tropical cyclones, increase in salinity intrusion, landslides, all these things. And most of the time, they are increasing in the region. The presentation will be highlighting only the salinity intrusion because I have given only 15 minutes. So I will be covering the salinity intrusion risk and the adaptive measures what we developed for Vietnam. Based on the gauge data and salinity models, what we try to develop is the salinity risk in the Mekong Delta. The plot here shows the grams per liter. This is the area where you get normally salinity during the winter spring, that is from October to March season. Based on this one, we could not apply any adaptive measures because this is an interpolated data and some of the farmers feel that their fields are not susceptible to salinity. Then we developed this 5-step methodology where we identify the climate related risk for each cropping season and for the particular location. Then we delineated the boundary areas for these risk levels using the technical data, infrastructure, and the modeling information what we can gather, as well as the local information. Then the third step is to develop the adaptive plans for these climate-related risks. Then again, we had a multi-stakeholder engagement where we tried to identify the site-specific related climate risk, and then we redesigned the adaptive plans to offset the negative impacts of salinity intrusion. Then finally, we started providing the advisories from 2017 onwards, and more than 800,000 hectares in Mekong River Delta has successfully implemented CS maps in last 3 years. So this is the climate risk maps for the normal year. Here the normal year are the years where you don't have any kind of climate stress like El Nino or reduced flow in the Mekong Delta. So we keep on regularly monitoring the seasonal climate forecast. At the same time, we have engaged with the gauges in the Mekong River Delta to see the river flow. If there is any substantial changes in the river flow, then we consider it as an extreme year. For the normal year, this is the entire rice growing area. You have 3 seasons here, and we try to classify the risks of salinity based on high, medium, low, and no impact or no effect. Then for the extreme year, whenever we notice there is a substantial reduction in Mekong River or ENSO events are happening, then the risk map will be like this. It will be having more red color in the coastal provinces as compared to the normal year. You can clearly see the difference. Similarly, we try to identify the areas which are mostly flood prone. Here we have engaged all the gauges here to identify these areas where they are susceptible to flooding in all the 3 seasons, particularly from JJS, June, July, August, September is the peak monsoon season for Vietnam. In these seasons, we try to identify the flood risk for both normal year and an extreme year would be an La Nina year. You can clearly see the differences in each of the provinces right now. Then we came up with the adaptive plan. Here you can see the bottom, Thang 1 represents January, 2 as February, so on, 12 as December. So for each region, we try to identify what is the best sowing period to overcome. Like most of the time, salinity intrusion happens during the end of February or first week of March during normal years. In case of extreme year like ENSO 2015, 2016, or if like 2019, 2020 season, due to the construction of huge dams in China in the upper catchment, the river flow has been decreased, and we noticed this one in early June. Then we started to implement this one. So whenever we see there is a climate related risk like an ENSO event is happening, or there is a reduction in river flow because of the monsoon failure or any infrastructure changes in the upper catchment, we try to understand the impact of salinity. Then we propose these types of adaptation plans, like when it's showing should be done for each province separately. You can clearly see the provinces vary. In the eastern side of the province, you will have salinity, and the west side, you will be having flooding. Based on that one, what we have done is we try to provide this information like DCP, Department of Crop Production, and our Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has done extensive survey in all the regions for October, November, December when the sowing has happened. And at the same time, we were using remote sensing data to track whether these sowing dates are actually happening on the ground or not. And at the same time, CCAPS and DCP here provided the adaptation packages to the farmers to go for an early planting. During the ENSO years, the salinity occurs bit early, like by end of January or first week of February. So what we propose here is to move the planting date from November to October, 1 month ahead, so that the farmers can be able to harvest rice crops before the salinity intrusion takes place. You can clearly see these pictures here. In 2017-18, most of the area sowing has been happening in December. But in 2019-2020, you can see it has been in the end of October and early November. So there is a substantial change what we try to develop. Here, the rice transplanting by month that is proposed by DCP and CCAPS here, you can clearly see for the month that is October. For 2017-18, you have a little bit of early sowing, but normally in the December, you got the maximum sowing. But when it happens in 2019-2020, you can see the most of the sowing has happened in October and November. Similarly for 2018 and 19 also. This way we try to offset the negative impacts of salinity, because with salinity, farmers in the region, especially during 2016-2017 severe El Nino year, they lost more than 50% of their yields. Then the sowing plans were designed sowing plans were designed for the 2018-2019 for the agroecological zones, where the impact was mostly found in the agroecological zone VB, where the sowing has been advanced here to the October instead of going with the January or December. Similarly, this is the remote sensing images from Sentinel-2, where I keep on watching the sowing windows for each and every month from 11, 17, that is 7th of November and 8th of December and 9th of October. So we keep on tracking the sowing windows, and the table here presents the days after transplanting. So this way we are keep on monitoring with this salinity nutrition, and we are keep on advising the farmers. So after having successful implementation of CS-MAP in the region, now DCP and MAD was requesting CCAPS and the allied partners here to develop CS-MAP for all the climate-related risks like pests and diseases, or heat waves, cold waves, or typhoons, and for other crops like coffee and tea. The adjustment of the crop calendar was designed like this. Most of the salinity happens from January to March. Then flooding happens from September to October here. The names are for Vietnam staff, and the names in English. So these are the 3 seasons: summer, autumn, winter, and winter, spring. This is the winter spring season is most susceptible to drought and salinity. So our concentration for this one would be on the salinity only. So CCAPS, what it has done is, we haven't developed new models here. What we have done is from simple science to complex level of engagement. What we have done is we try to identify the risk here, then we overlaid all the risk types and developed a sustainable adaptation measures. So how we are scaling up CS-MAP in the region is, now we will be having a CS-MAP version for Red River Delta, South Central Coast, which is a drought prone area. Then another phase of TFCC is right now CS-MAP is at the province level. Now the government of Vietnam is requesting us to develop at commune level. Commune is nothing but at village level, what we can say at Indian context, district level. The next steps of applying CS maps in the regions are like, we will be developing a flood related maps for Cambodia, drought for Laos and Cambodia, Myanmar, typhoon for Philippines, hot and cold spells for northern Vietnam. And we will be covering all the crops like tea, coffee, aquaculture. CS map is now supporting the national adaptation plans for Vietnam. So what we have done here and how we are different from the other technologies. Application of this methodology is not new. You can easily identify the risk levels, but identifying the appropriate adaptation plans for site specific using the stakeholder dialogue made this one really special for us to understand what are the local climate related risks are existing and how we can cope up with those existing risk levels. So we try to have a participatory dialogue with most of the stakeholders from DART, DCP, MAD, other CG centers here like CIAT, ED, and CCAPs collectively study the climate risk profiles. Then we engage the farmers as well to understand whether the fields of the particular farmer in a given province are really susceptible or not. From our modeling aspect, if we identify it as a severely saline infiltration, but on the ground, if it is not really salinity levels are high, then we try to adjust those maps with the farming community there. So this way we can try to replicate the current risk levels on the ground, and we can modify this one. And then we started to integrate with other practical actions on the ground, like we started disseminating this information to DCP and DART at provincial level, and they started to communicate the results with the farming community, like when to sow, what varieties to be chosen, especially during salinity years, like saline resilient varieties can be working, or flood resilient varieties. So we try to provide all the details, the DCP, and DCP takes care of the dissemination of the information. CS map can be applied for other field operations with practical details, like we have multi-layer information from simple to complex layering, where you can try to understand the impacts of salinity or flood or heat waves. So it's a multi-layer way of the climate risk information that can be used to understand the site-specific information, then what are the adaptation package that we deployed there and how they are working. To understand the impact of CS map, we have outsourced the CS map impact study to the third partners, like CCAPS doesn't want to be involved to understand the impact. So we have given it to the external partners to do a complete study, and the report should be available by end of December. Because of the COVID situation, the team was not able to penetrate into the Mekong Delta, especially at province and community level. Next level, what we are trying to look is for develop the CS map, not only for vulnerability, but also for production planning and contingency planning, then to implement CS map for other regions within Southeast Asia and within Vietnam also, where CS maps are not being developed. So this is how we started to upscale CS map. CS map is not like a regular vulnerability mapping, but it's a CSA upscaling, climate smart agriculture, where we try to understand, deploy all the technologies which are possible to cope up with the current climatic variability and future climate projections. Thank you. Any questions? I'll be happy to address.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
may I have question?
Please go ahead. A brief question.
First, I would like to ask you which method you use for calculating the risk, for example, flat risk or round risk or something like that. And
Like climate risk?
Okay.
Okay, please go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah.
We can hear you, Tan, and I did hear the question. Sridhar, did you hear the question?
Partly it was breaking for me. So his question is, if I understand how I quantified the climate risk, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So climate risk here, we identified different climate risks based on the historical data analysis and during the crop season. Particularly for salinity and flood, we use both hydrological models and salinity models. Then we use the gas data to identify that one. Once we developed the map, as I showed in the second slide, this is the raw slide of salinity intuition for Vietnam. But using this map, we are not able to deploy any adaptation packages. So what we have done is we went into the farmers' fields, then tried to identify which areas are really saline intuition problem is there and which are not there. So a stakeholder engagement here helped us to define the mapping. You can see how we had the people coming together with the maps. We went with the maps and they started coming at with advices. No, this area is not salinity intrusion. And this is not even rice growing area. There is a change in the land use, land cover. So we try to incorporate all those information together to provide this climate risk maps. Right now, we are working with only salinity and flood, and other maps for other regions are coming soon by end of December.
Okay, that means you based on the field survey, the most important part.
First, we have done the climate analysis using the modeling framework. Then we went with the results to the field to get the stakeholder engagement to mapping.
I think we
Okay.
have one more question only. Maybe Alex?
Yeah, if I may, thank you, Sridhar, and hello to everybody. This is Alex Rowan from NASA and from AgMIP. First off, just wanted to say how exciting it is to see this AgMIP Vietnam focus, and really excited to build on the developments that have already begun, but will hopefully advance today. Yeah, on this, Sridhar, it's really exciting work and connects very nicely with some of the things that AgMIP has been trying to do in other parts of the world. And it seems like there's some capabilities that could be built in all directions there. I think for the specific application here, what would be interesting is to figure out how to get these types of hazards into a testable mode, so that we can get the crop models to explore different adaptations and different future scenarios or some kind of settings. And then even move beyond that into the economic side so we can figure out the feasibility of those adaptations. I'd imagine that's in your plans, but it's the kind of thing that having a strong multidisciplinary kind of AgMIP-like team to engage with CCAPs and all of the other national stakeholders could be a great benefit there. So in particular, one of the things that is clear is that some of the specific hazards that you're identifying are not ones that crop models are currently very good at simulating, like salinity intrusion and river flooding require that secondary model for coastal processes or for river floods. But it would be very interesting to figure out what are those important improvements or add-ons in a post-processing kind of framework so that we could connect the crop models to those hazards and better understand how they are today and how they're evolving in the future. So anyway, mostly just cheerleading, saying this looks like a good way forward. But I'm curious, Sridhar, if you have a specific kind of crop model application in mind for the future.
Thanks, Alex. Right now, we have only configured the Verizon crop model for the salinity intrusion. Flooding is not at all possible with the Verizon model yet. So we are trying to use Verizon, which is like AppSim Rice, which has been incorporated with salinity intrusion. The publication should be out by end of December. So I will share the details of how we incorporated the salinity module into the Verizon.
For what it's worth, many years ago, I published in Bangladesh a study that had river flood damage. And it was a kind of new process that was a post-processing framework developed by a colleague there. But yeah, that's another very interesting thing, of course, with applications all around the world of how do we damage crops. And that was by phenology and the height of the plant and the color of the water and many other things. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Kumari, for your presentations. Should anyone else have any questions, please?
In the interest of time, I'm going to suggest that maybe we move forward to Dr. Tan and have the questions, maybe a couple just for clarifying after the presentation, and let's have a discussion with the whole group as possible at the end.
Yeah, thank you so much. And then our next presentation will, will be conducted by Dr. Tan at the University of Science at Vietnam National University, Hanoi, please.
Okay, thank you. Can you?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, your screen is visible and very good.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's my presentation today. Actually, I would like to say another topic, but thanks to get me to say about to talk about the dynamical season prediction. So I saw this topic today. Here is our team. The Rainbow Creek team is a regional climate model, climate modeling and climate change is our main research direction in HUS, Hanoi University of Science. In HUS, we do dynamic season prediction based on the motivations that together with the economic growth, the demand for high quality weather and climate service are increasing. And for agriculture, water resource management and preparation of disaster prevention, the length of the time scale of weather forecast, that means it's up to 2 days. That is not enough long. The question is how we can forecast weather conditions with a longer time scale, such as monthly, 1 month in advance, 2 months in advance, or season maybe 3 months or up to 12 months. And which event and which variable are predictable. That means not all of the variable, meteorological variable can be predicted. So we should focus the predictable variable. And here we use methods dynamic and downscaling using the regional climate model. And time scale, we focus on the seasonal scale. That means from 1 month to 6 months in advance. And for sub-seasonal scale, from the 2 weeks to 6 weeks in advance. Why the 2 weeks to 6 weeks is a question, but I cannot focus today. And the event and variable to be predicted here is temperature and precipitation and number of pulses and heat wave and radiation onset and onset route and tropical cyclone activity. Our approach is that we use dynamic downscaling output from global model by using regional climate model. But our facing which data from the global model can be used as initial boundary condition for the model. And based on that, we have 2 options. The first one is we use available data from the internet and it's free. And maybe we can run the global model forecast at our university. And if we have one or 2 or both the data source, we can put into the model to run the model and to get the forecast product. And this is our running. The first, we use available global forecast data from CFF model. That means from N7K from US. And we use the data CFF data as ICBC. That means initial and boundary condition to put into the 2 model. Actually, we run the 4th model, but now at present we use only 2, the RESTEM and also CN Wolf. And we use both reforecast data and also operational data, and to put into the model and to run the model. For forecast data, we can get the forecast model, and for boundary condition as a reforecast ICBC, we get the model climatology, and model climatology output we compare with the observation data, and to get the bias, and using the bias we do bias correction and to get the forecast product. And the second option is we run the global model at our university. That means we got global RST, that means sea temperature analysis to use as initial condition and to put into the CCAM. CCAM is another model, that means global CCAM, and CCAM also 2 options, global run and also regional run. And to put into the CCAM and use the output from CCAM as input for reasonable model, and we do that and to get the same way as before, and to get the downscaling output from ResCam, from CN Wolf, and also from CCAP. And both of these products we do ensemble and to get a better result. Here is our run here where for the precipitation and temperature and also other event we use a domain like that. And for tropical cyclone we run on larger domain from about 1 degree to 180 degree. And our model run like that. From the initial run, initial month, we run for the season time scale up to the 6 months. That means 1 month we can run every 5 days run. So maybe we can get about the 6 run in a month, and we can get all of them and to do example for the lead time from 1 month, 2 months up to the 6 months. And here is some example. We do the temperature prediction for our all of the regions, that means 7 sub-regions in Vietnam. And here is for the temperature and the 2 model and maximum temperature. This is minimum temperature and maximum temperature and minimum temperature. Before for model run, origin model run, we get quite a large bias. That means 0. ME that means mean error. ME that means mean absolute error, and root means square error, and correlation. And this is correlation. Correlation that means correlation between the output model and observation. For the origin output from the model, maybe the error quite large, but after by correction we get smaller error, and this is improves significantly improves our forecast. And you can see that here the monthly forecast for lead time 1 month up to 6 months is vary about 1 degree, around 1 degree, and maybe for maximum and minimum temperature the 0 may be larger. And another for precipitation, that may be very important for agriculture. We also run the regional model and to downscale the ResCam, the CFF output. And this is, for example, for 2 months or 3 months, 3 years, 2012 or 2014. And this is observation data, and this is output from ResCam model, from the regional model. And you can see that all of the output model may consistent with observation, except some case, for example, the cold bias, the wet bias, and here is maybe the dry bias. And after we calculate the added value for the recent model output, and we get a better return with the hot color, and maybe worst return is the cold color. And maybe the model gives the best return for the north of Vietnam and also some in central Vietnam. And also for we do run the concert forecast. Here, for an example, you know that in Vietnam we have Tết holiday. This is the emission, that means the model run from the October 2017 and run 6 months in advance up to the April 2018, and we can catch some concert here, and also here you can see just before Tết holiday we got another one hot spell that been hot in the winter, but here we can get cold spell, and also after Tết holiday you can get all the hot spell. And for tropical cyclone correction, it's quite complicated. You can see here the model output can show some center like tropical cyclone, but only one of them, or maybe two, maximum two of them, occurs as tropical cyclone. So we have to decide which one is should be chosen. So based on our program or scheme, we can show which one is better. So after that, we can run this model for whole time. For example, here is for 1995 to 2010, and here is our model output, and here is observation. You can see that is quite similar picture. And here is a real-time forecast for 2012 and 2013. And the black one is observation, and the red one is the red one is observation, and black one is AgMIP. And you can see that the AgMIP maybe better gets a result output from the model. And here is also for the model. This one, I say that is for the model. We run every 5 days, 5 times a month. So here we got 4 times, and the first week, second week, and fourth week. And so we do an example and compare example to the observation. That is quite good. And of course, sometimes is the worst, because here's a February in Vietnam. In Vietnam East Sea is a very few tropical cyclone. And here is a for 2012 and 2013 forecast. You can see that here is observation, and here is observation, and also the forecast is quite similar. And to compare between the observe and forecast, you can see that black and the red here. This is the example data and observation data. See that the example data is maybe overestimate compared to the observation some month, and here maybe it's underestimate. And this is for 2 cases. 2010 is a very few tropical cyclone, and 2013 is here is yes, and 2013 is 2010 is less, and 2013 is more. And because it's 2010 is very few tropical cyclone, and the model can catch some observation here. And for 2013 is more frequency, more tropical cyclone here, and the model can get here. And based on that, I can see if you want to see more detail about my presentation, you can see our 3 paper published in Planning Meteorology, and also climate research, and also weather and forecasting. And this is my report today. Thank you.
Thank Dr. Tang for your presentation, because you will, you will leave soon for another meeting. So if anyone has any questions, please, we will give you some time to ask Dr. Tang. So if not, so we move to the presentation of the Dr. Bui, could you please present your topics?
Yes. Can you?
Dr. Tan, I think you need to release the screen share, please.
Yeah, I think Dr. Tan, maybe I need you to share my screen again. My screen cannot.
Yeah, I stop it. Okay.
Maybe I need someone stop it first. Yes.
You should be all set.
Yeah, can you
Okay,
see my
so
screen now? Can you see my screen now?
What's that?
Can you see my screen now?
Not yet. So I can have to share your presentation. Is okay, Dr. Bui?
Yeah, yeah, please share the screen.
Okay, I will do that. I will do that for you.
Few minutes ago.
Yeah, do you see the presentation of Dr. Bui? Yeah.
Yes, yes, please.
Okay,
Thank you,
yes.
Dr.
Please go ahead.
So, hi everyone. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for giving me a chance to share our work related to prediction of the stream flow, sediment and reservoir inflow and outflow in Greater Mekong Region. The title a little bit, I changed a little bit from the agenda, but the idea is more or less the same. And I would like to introduce a little bit myself. I am Bui from the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources in Vietnam, and I am now currently the director of the Department of Water Resource Monitoring and detail under our operational work. And I am pleased to share with you, what we do with water management, water monitoring and forecasting, and how we can contribute this to the agriculture in general and in the AgMIP and growth model in particular. So next slide, please. Dr. Tan, next slide, please. Yeah, I will give you briefly on the background, the motivation and also objective and the data. And that's just how we validate the data and how we provide the data for through the web portal for the socio-economic development in general and for agriculture and crop in particular. So you know that water and food is have a very close relation. In water, you see global water usage. You can see that there's more than 70% water used for agriculture, and water can use for irrigation, for water consumption, for food production, and also virtual water along the water channels. Yeah, so you can see the different water footprint. You can see that almost every food production that needs water. So that's why this is a big motivation for us to need to provide the water information for food security of the Vietnam, for the national food security. And you may know that in Vietnam, in particular, we facing a very big problem with Chan boundary water river basin. More than Vietnam is what we have more than 60% of national water resource come from other country, and particularly Mekong River Basin, even then more than 90% come from other country, and Red River Basin also more than 40% from other country, and the data sharing with the same problem, the similar problem with the developing country is that we facing problem with the data availability, and especially in international river basin, the water sharing among the country also another challenge. So that's why in this work we try to improve the prediction of the stream flow, of sediment, of the reservoir inflow, outflow in the greater Mekong region, that means Vietnam and Basin, using declaration and last multi-basin modeling and regionalization. So so specific objective we send how far the multi-catchment model using global data, including satellite observation, can predict the flow and sediment and reservoir inflow, outflow in the region, and then through this modeling and with satellite observation and the ETS data, we can integrate together to provide the data for the general public through the interactive web portal for general use. Yeah. So basically, I will give you briefly the data we use for the model development. We set up the model, the rainfall runoff, the catchment model for the entire Mekong River Basin, and with the data used for the model set up being topography, that means the digital elevation, dam, and flow accommodation, flow direction, river width, stream direction, and also we have information about plain, lake, reservoir, and dam. And also we need the this slide. We have some information about land cover and soils. So this is the basic information for the catchment model. And from survey data, please back to previous slide. Aside from the surface model, surface data, we also need forcing data in the precipitation, temperature, potential evaporation. So the information we have the forcing data, and through model we can predict the stream flow and sediment transport. So that's for water and also sediment important for agriculture. And to calibrate the model, to validate the model, we use the stream flow and water level both in Vietnam and in Mekong River Basin. We call Mekong River Basin is politically ungated. That means actually that's gated, but we assume that we don't have the data from other countries. So how we can validate the model in the ungated river basin before, so we can provide high quality for development. So next slide, please. So this is the approach. We show you the approach of the regionalization that we use for model calibration. So basically, we have um, the whole Mekong River Basin and Vietnam. We divide into 1,120 sub-river basin, sub-catchment. And then among these, we have 19 gate catchment in Vietnam that we have each data. And we use the similarity, the regionalization to validate the model part, the part of model in Mekong River Basin that we don't have industry data. So we use the satellite data and we check with the correlation between the water level and from satellite data and industry data in Vietnam, and so that we can find a similar catchment between in Mekong region, and then from that approach we can calculate the model. We validate the model in UNGATE part in the other country. So the other idea of the calibration I can briefly describe in such way. So next slide, please. So you can see that this is just to show one of the selected observation point that we calibrate the stream flow and the flow duration curve, both annual and in monthly scale and in daily scale. That shows a very big improvement of the model after different version, after very carefully careful calibration, and we show that very good match between the model, the prediction stream flow, and the into stream flow. So actually, we got a similar result for all river basin, on selected station, hydrological station. But here I just saw one hydrograph. And the next slide, please. And here I saw spatial distribution of the validation of the result of the model among all the river basin. So you can see that the model is quite well calibrated for almost all sub-basin over the region, across region, including the in Vietnam and also in other countries, even for into the stream flow, and we use the KGE to make the model, to quantify the model performance. To actually different metrics that you can find from our application in the hydrology. Next slide, please. And to make sure the performance of the basin, I'd like to give this slide, please. To make sure that back to the previous slide, please. To make sure that the model performs well with both low flow, high flow, and medium flow. Next slide, please. We use not only daily stream flow, but also we use different signature. You can see from this graph, this table, we use the we calibrate the model at the second level for different flow signature, both high flow, low flow, medium flow. So, so different signature we can get acceptable model result. So this just to show that we have very the model is, after many years calibrated, and we calibrate very carefully with different flow signature, different variable, and also different statistical metric. So next slide, please. So after the model calibrate with stream flow, next step is we use an approach to calibrate with the sedimentation, the suspended sediment concentration. So, so you know that before we provide any prediction, forecast, any simulation results, we need to calibrate it. So first we calibrate with the stream flow, and now we calibrate with the sediment. So this is the result to show the selected monitoring station that with the sediment concentration at the quite acceptable level. So this model now can use for predict the sediment transport reservoir, to predict the reservoir sedimentation. So that is also the sediment to downstream. That is also important for nutrient for the agriculture. So next slide, please. Next slide, please. And you know that most challenge with the watershed modeling and prediction is to predict the water in regulated river basin, with the construction of the dam, with the regulation of the reservoir and dam. So next slide, please. So we also do carefully calibrate the regulated flow in the reservoir catchment. So this we follow the different reservoir have a different operational rule. So we also calibrate. We take a further step to calibrate the model for the sub-catchment that have a regulated reservoir and dam. So this is selected results to show the model performance in the reservoir, some reservoir in Thailand, Highland Center in Vietnam. So slide, please. So from this far, you can see that we calibrate the model at carefully, and on the model is calibrated at the set level. We have to simulate the water at the high scale, high resolution data, and then to support for the water user, practitioner and researcher in the region to access the data for their own use, including for agriculture development, for irrigation. So we predict the water data, and we automatically upload routinely to the data portal at this website. So if you later if you need, you also can get this website to get the data. So what kind of data we can provide from this after we validate the model? You can go to next slide, please. Next slide, please. All right, Dr. Tang, next slide, please. Yeah, so from this web portal, we provide different kind of data. First, we provide the long-term data for historical, monthly, annual, and daily plans. So from this, we can see the component of water balance, including the evaporation, temperature, and stream flow. So we can know that from this we can know that when the flood happened, when the drought happened, what the shortage happened, and also we can see the key climate characteristics in the specific area in the whole region. And also we provide the long-term study data of historical data, daily data of different components, including stream flow, precipitation, evaporation, soil moisture, temperature of every site. So that both social and environment concern can be planned accordingly, and also can get the data for different analysis use. And not only we provide the data in the past historical data, but also we provide the forecast from 1 to 16 days ahead, and also seasonal forecast from 1 to 6 months ahead of the stream flow, of sediment, of the reservoir inflow in all sub-catchment. So similar to Dr. Tan just present, he also provides seasonal climate forecast, but we provide the seasonal water forecast. So we are the next step of the Dr. Tan. So from this, from this we can have the citizen, the water planner, reservoir farmer to make the water, food, energy plans. I release water or reservoir operation. You can optimize the reservoir operation. Now short-term forecast next 16 days from 1 to 16 days. That we done every day. Update every day can help to for decision maker to make a for user to make an immediate action. And seasonal forecast will have to more strategic decision and case. And also we provide the long-term climate change impact on water resource to 2100 with the two scenarios, the low emission and high emission. So action can be adapted to the new condition. And of course, we show the model performance in different performance metrics and hydrograph to see the water to see the data quality. So I will give you a little bit more detail on the specific photo. So later you can, whenever you're interested in doing getting the water data in Mekong and Vietnam region, you can use this photo for your own use. Next slide, please. Yeah, you can see this is the water balance in both monthly and annual scale. So for monthly, you can see which month is water is abundant, maybe flood may happen, and which month is water shortage and drought may happen. And also you can see different which is a major component of the hydrological component, and also the variability, the seasonality of the climate and of the water in specific region. So in any subcatchment, you can get it information, and also from annual water balance due to last decades. You can see which year drought may happen, dry may happen. So the information on water shortage you can get from this for every subcatchment. So you can download from the portal. You can download the graph, and also you can download the data in CSV format, so you can use it for your own calculation. Next. In daily time series for each subbasin, you can just click on the subbasin of your own interest, and then you also can download the data from different year, the data including some essential water variable like evaporation, soil moisture, stream flow, and then also precipitation. So different data you can get this. And this model is review the precipitation from MS, and temperature from CFS routine 2. Yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah. And next this slide. This menu, you can get the 1 to 6 day forecast. So for specific reason, you can get this short-term forecast of the water data, including we use the precipitation and temperature forecast from GFS, global forecast system, with some bias correction, and some data processing before forecasting, before forcing into model. Next slide, please. Yeah. So we provide you the seasonal forecast. We not only provide you the data of the upcoming 6 months, upcoming time, but also we compare with the historical mean. So we can see that upcoming time, 6 months ahead, is maybe any possibility drop or flood or be lower than in the mean or higher than mean historical mean. So you can provide some useful information for planning and taking action maybe for irrigation planning in next coming month. Yeah, and especially for seasonal forecast, we provide a monthly warning. So we provide monthly warning to see any possibility of the drought may happen. So if the flow is near normal or above normal or below normal, so we can visualize in different color like this. So we provide a warning for different subcatchment in whole country and whole region. So any area, area with the warning of the drought may happen, we can provide. So this is we provide. In this slide we already provide forecast to January in 2021. So next upcoming 6 months, 4 months. Yeah, I run I prepared this slide and technical result for last month. So not only in sub-catchment, but also, you know, reservoir operation that need for optimal reservoir operation service. We need to know information about the water inflow and sediment inflow into reservoir. So we provide the seasonal forecast of the inflow into reservoir. So we can provide this information to this, and we also provide the climate change impact data. As I said, you can, and here you can see you can get the data on climate change impact to 2100, and this projected sourcing data we are taken from NASA next GBDP climate protection data, and this is the outlook, the long-term vision outlook, and the facility more performances to show the we do very carefully since you for operation forecast in our ministry. So we do very carefully validation using different metric, different statistical metric, using multi flow signature. So this is just again to do on the portal to show the where the data is reliable and level of reliability, so people can have some consideration before using the data for different parts of the basin. So just I think maybe I take too long, so I just briefly share with you what we do with the water and how we can provide the water information for the region of Vietnam, for Mekong region. So I think for agriculture scientists, you can use this for your study. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Dr. Bui. So I'm going to show my presentation, in terms of nature-based solutions. Just give the shortly, like just 1 or 2 minutes about, our ideas, how we can build up some solution for that one for the future. So I will show you my presentation. Now it's just 2 slides so that we, this one is just brainstorming how we can look for a future solution for the Mekong. Here. Now we take a look at this one. So do you see my screens? So my presentation is nature-based solutions. Now I just would like to demonstrate 2 pictures, 2 photos that we will take a look at. The first one is about rice in the Mekong. You see that it's normal cultivation in the Mekong River Delta. You see that people plant rice, a long time ago, that's 1 crop. And now they have 2 crops and then 3 crops. So this is we call it dried water rice, because at the beginning people just need some water, so that the rice can develop, the plant can be developed. But over time they don't keep permanent water. They don't keep the field wet, so they will let the field dry and then wet for some time. When the plant needs water, they will pump water to water the plant. So for this case, and then because of wanting to protect this type of rice, and then enhance to 3 crops of rice per year. So then people make the high levee to prevent the water overflowing into the rice field in the flooding season. for this case, the land to become dry and dry over time. And then for this case, so when the climate change happens, but also some area, so when people, they don't have the enough water supplies, water source from the river, and then the land to become drier, and we have drought in it, in some very some locations. And then this is, now we take a look at this one. This one is the traditional plant. It's traditional rice planting in the regions. So this plant can, this plant prefers, water. And then when some people cultivate this kind of plant, they don't need to do pesticides. They don't apply pesticides, because, this plant with a little disease. And then this is one type of eco rice plant. And then you can say like perhaps maybe organic, because we don't apply any pesticides and then fertilizer to this, this kind of plant. And then because of needing water to grow up. So to cultivate this plant, people need to keep the water in the rice field for a long time, at least 4 months to 6 months. And then when people keep this water in the fields, so it can help enhance the moisture in soil and help to prevent the drought. And then for this case, this can help to protect the environment and then prevent the water shortage and drought in the regions. Now, so there is right now the local government in Vietnam. So the government is trying to bring this traditional plant back. And then another thing is that the ingredient, this plant also has it can contain very good vitamin and nutrient, for diet. So, and then, the natural based solutions is the trending, going up in Vietnam right now. So people are trying to take a look at different picture that's based on nature. For this kind of planting, we don't need to control the water. We will let the flood come to the rice field. And then we have to, reduce the pollution in the field, but also have to maintain the aqua resources like stream, like fish over there. And this we have to enhance the biodiversity in the regions. So, and then, now we would like to, in the future, in our team, we will do comparison between the two types of the planting. And then we will model this a typical plant, so that we can know, how this plant, tall 2 meter height, and then it's longer, and then it can tolerate to climate variety. 2 pictures only, but just give them Vietnam AgMIP. So we just spend some time to listen to our presentation in our team. So if you have any questions, so please ask. So if you have any questions for our teams, please raise your questions. Please do unmute and then give your questions. Thank you. Dr. Bui.
Hello.
Yep.
Yes. I'm Bui here.
Yeah. So do you have any questions? for Sridhar, Dr. Gamari's presentation as well.
I just waiting for if someone have a question with regard to my presentation.
So you want me to get back to your presentation? So I think, you know, in our team, for new directions, you know, for the AgMIP Vietnam. So we have I just would like to show you the slides so that, you know, so you guys can take a look at what we are doing now, some topics related to this one. So I will present this one. So our direction, we will cover that we will follow organic crop modeling, but not only for organic crop modeling, but also like nature-based crop modeling. That's under with the condition of the high flood. And then we just mentioned to climate seasonal forecast covered by Dr. Tan. And then because, you know, the climate right now is unpredictable, and then also, you know, it's hard to predict. So how we can do for subseasonal and seasonal forecast, that is our questions. And then nature-based solutions, how we can take a look at nature-based solution and how we can estimate whether it can benefit to our community, not only about in terms of youth, but also in terms of the quality the model into the, you know, the tools to support decision making. For example, like, you know, when the policy on crops, so our platform can be supportive for that one. And then we will continue to do for rice modeling, but different, you know, with, you know, different, you know, with various varieties of rice, and then oriental and also other plants. Particularly, we are very interested in the combined system like rice stream, mango stream, but also like warm rice in the north of Vietnam. So these are the focuses that our team will cover for, you know. And then if you guys would like to add anything, please let us know so we can we can our team. So we also welcome any, you know, question. Does very well, and then, you know, and then we have some issue for the connection. So I think, you know, our teams today just show some introduction in terms of, you know, what we are doing, and then then in the future, hopefully we can get to work in some particular topics. We also welcome your new ideas to so that we can collaborate for this particular topic. I don't know why the Zoom just kick out me sometime, and then it's hard to get it back. Yeah, I think our session is now done, and then thank you so much for you on to join these sections, and hopefully we can see you soon in future. And particularly thank you so much for our team member who had your presentations. Thank you so much, and have a good time over there. Bye bye. Bye bye, Dr. Boy. Bye bye, everyone. That we will give time for other people. Yeah, other section. Yeah, see you guys. Bye. See you guys.
Yes, please. Yes, Dr. Tan.
Hello, hello. Hello.